Let's just play it on.
So yesterday I was quite bored with myself and I decided to turn on Netflix. And I found a movie called KO. It's from 2025. It's a French film. The other French films that I know of are pretty much Banlieue 13 or District 13. So my knowledge of French cinema is not very good. Anyways, I was quite bored, so I was like, okay, I want to watch a thrilling action film, and that movie was the first thing that came up. Today I'm gonna be talking about KO from 2025. So the movie KO is from Antoine Blossier. I don't know if it's pronounced like that, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. This movie is an action film. It's kind of in the reign of maybe something like The Raid, which is very interesting coming from France. The story of this film stars Bastien, who is an MMA fighter, and he's like living his life being one of the best MMA fighters, I guess. That's never confirmed, but I guess that's what it is. he's pretty good, okay? But you know, this is his dream, his whole life. He's been training for this. This has been his passion, pretty much his life at this point. Until one day there comes an accident that happens between Bastien and his opponent. He accidentally kills his opponent, which kind of sucks. After that, Bastien tries to recoup his sins, and you know, he's kind of scared of fighting anymore because, you know, he doesn't want this shit to happen again. You know, he doesn't want this thing to happen again to him. He's kind of punishing himself by, you know, distancing himself from fighting. Pretty much he decides to quit from fighting altogether. But a small chain of events actually brings him back to his MMA past. So now sometime later, the family, actually the son of the person he killed, gets tangled in some bad stuff, let's say. He gets in trouble. So now it's up to Bastien to actually save him. Okay, this is as much as I'm gonna say about the story. To be honest, the story is not that bad. I actually like the story a lot. I think that the dynamic of Bastien and this other police officer cop, which I didn't mention, there's a police officer that has her own reasons to be going after the same person that Bastien is a very cool dynamic. Can we start over? Why am I breathing so heavy? What the hell, man? So anyways, if you understood, I hope you understood my blabbering and blah. I hope you understood anything I said, but I think that the story is pretty good, but it's not very well told in my opinion. Sometimes things are going too fast for my liking, and this movie is actually 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's not a very long movie, it's a very dynamic movie, but yeah, now the actors that bring this story to life, I think they're actually pretty good, but they have something left to be desired, you know. They're not completely into it. I think that the main hero, Bastien's character, is actually not that bad. He's a really good character, but the actor himself, I think, is not reactive enough to the situations that he sets himself into. There's a little bit of a problem there, you know. Now, as I said, the story is actually interesting enough to make up for, you know, the whole duration of the film. The second protagonist that I have to talk about is actually Kenza. Kenza is a police officer that goes after the same gang for a different reason, but this time Leo, the son of the MMA fighter that Bastien killed, pretty much, this is the thing that connects them. Leo is the main connection between everything that's going on in this film. Both of them have their own reasons to be searching for him. So in this film, through the whole film, they're trying to find him, save him, and like get him out of trouble. As I said, I think that the story, although it leaves a lot to be desired, I think that it's decent enough to keep the whole movie going. I was quite surprised actually. I was expecting something more cringy, a little bit like less polished, but this movie is actually very polished, which brings me to the fight scenes, which actually that's quite of an interesting switch up, you know. But the fight scenes in this film they are great. The fight scenes are visceral, they're raw. I think that a lot of the fights are very good, and I love the new dynamic that they put out. Like the Bastion character, he's not a small kung fu guy, you know, he's a huge ass MMA fighter, and sometimes you just see the other actors, his enemies, looking at him like, what the hell? But he's really cool. Although he's very big, he's also very agile. That's something very fun that I found out about this film. Like, although you have this huge ass character, he's so agile. He does all these moves that you wouldn't quite expect, you know, for the man his size. But he also has the plus of, you know, getting stabbed and him being like, "Did you just stab me?" Sure. He just pulls it out and he doesn't have anything to worry about, I guess. He doesn't bleed out or anything. I even like the small conversation after, I think it was the first fight, after the first big fight of the movie, the two main heroes have this conversation and Kenza is like, yeah, they really roughed you up, didn't they? And he's like, I've had it worse. So you can just imagine through what kind of stuff he's going through. Also, to the fight scenes, to his durability, I like that they presented him like he's quite the unstoppable force. He's not undefeatable, he's not impossible to beat, but he's very hard to beat. So I really like the dynamic in the fight scenes. I think they did a terrific job, a very good job. And I think if it wasn't for the fight scenes, probably the whole movie would fall apart because of the acting not being as strong as I would have loved. But yeah, so the fight scenes and the acting, to me, I give it a thumbs up. I think it was very good. As a whole, the movie was actually very well made. That brings me to the music in the film, which I thought also it was really good. It wasn't popping up, it wasn't something that I would remember for a long time, but the music in this film, it was pretty good. Just decent enough that it would hold the whole thing together, but it wasn't something that it would take over, you know. Like in other films you have these iconic theme songs. This movie really doesn't have one, but it never felt out of place, so I think it's quite good overall, you know. Other things I have to point out is the villain of the film. The villain of this film is just merciless, very stylish with these very wide glasses. I really like the I don't give a fuck attitude that he gives out, and I just think he's a great character. I wanted to see more of him being so maniacal, so crazy. Like when you see him on screen, you would either know like, I'm dead, I'm going to be dead, or I'm about to be dead. He just has such a hard presence during the whole film, and I really like that. Like you get the feeling that when he shows up, stuff's about to go down. So all of this praise that I'm giving it on this film, like it's very well deserved, because the film is actually pretty good. Well, in my opinion, the biggest sin that the movie does, the movie is just not memorable enough. I just know that this movie was a great watch. It's like a popcorn flick, as they say. It's a great watch. It's a fun experience. The acting is not that bad. It's pretty good. But the whole thing is not very memorable in my opinion. Like, I highly doubt that I would watch this movie again, or I'll probably just show it to my girlfriend. We're gonna watch it together and then be done with it. I just feel like there's something missing, like a little sparkle of pop. I don't know how to explain it. It's very hard to explain when a movie is well made and it's not bad, but it doesn't really suck you in. It doesn't really get you involved too much. So by the end, you kind of feel like, okay, this movie is over and that was it. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So overall, I would actually give this movie the score of, I don't know, I would give it a proper 6 out of 10. I was thinking on giving it a 7 out of 10 because of the great villain, but you know, thinking about it, okay, maybe just give it a 7 out of 10. It's a great film, okay? The villain is great. The main actor, he's kind of a reactive character. He's not very involved in the story. Like, he is the main character, but mostly he's just reacting to stuff that happens around him. The secondary actor, Kenza, the Kenza character, she's pretty good as well, so the dynamic is not that bad. These three characters are the thing that holds this movie together. Like, they're not bad, but the whole film is quite unmemorable. I'm probably gonna forget about it in a couple of months. Can I really recommend this movie? I don't know. Like, it's so hard to describe. If you're up for a fun action flick, definitely give it a try. Watch it. It's a very short film. If you're looking for something short to watch on a weekend break, have a crack at it. It's not a bad film, but it's mostly just a popcorn flick. That was my review of KO, the film from 2025. If you like the video, you know what to do. I'm the Twisted, and I'm out. Hey, do you like my ghetto ass setup? Look, I set this whole thing up in 5 minutes. I pulled up my crazy home lamp. I used this as a bonus lamp. Just look at this. Oh my god, it's so dark. Oh, this is actually better. Look, this is so much dark and moody. Ooh, ooh, it's oozing. Oh yeah, and type me what you think about the movie in the comments. I'll be happy to read them. So yeah, thank you. Bye guys.